again today. I'm making a traditional Swedish dish. It's called stekt fläsk med löksås, and it's it's a sauce with onions, and you eat it with stekt fläsk. It's fried, pan-fried pork belly-ish. Well, anyway, just gonna chop these up. You can actually put a lot more onions in if you want. I'm trying to make this sauce for 4 people, so that we'll have some tomorrow, but we'll see. Anyway. I am not a trained chef. I haven't learned from anyone how to chop onions. This is the way I find works quite well. You slice it. Right. So, onions. I have a pan. It's a sauteuse, which I love. Fairly high heat. My pan. You can use butter, or this is clarified butter. I'm going to with butter today because it has actually salt and a flavor. So what is that, 100 grams? I don't know. Chuck it in, and we need some salt with that. And yes, we put up all the salt in now. You just have to, use your eye. I don't know how much, because I don't know how salty you want it, but I do know you want to put salt in right now, because that would prevent the onions from browning. I do not want brown onions with this, and I want white pepper in now also. Be careful, it will make the pepper taste more when you actually fry it. And I want a plastic fork that has some spring in it, right? So we chuck in the onions. Mix it around. You want the onions to blend with the salt. And I press down on the onions. Yes. Squish, 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 squish. I will be making this with mascarpone, because of course you can use like a shitload of cream and just let it boil and boil and boil and boil and boil until it's really thick in that. But mascarpone is already thick in that. But it's all thick and gooey and gorgeous, and it has absolutely no flavor whatsoever. It's not in my mouth. This is 41% fat. This is from Lidl. We love it. You can do everything with it. This is chicken stock and just a dollop of cream, maybe. So you keep doing this, squeezing, pressing with a fork, or maybe if you have a wooden spatula, I suppose you can do this. I feel this works best with one of these forks. Now what you're looking for here is for all the onions to really lose every shape and form it has. So you can still see the onions, you can feel the onions here. You want to keep smooshing until literally all you have is a sort of onion paste. Onions without all the water in it, and butter really, and the spices, right? So keep stirring, keep squishing. Oh dear. I'll just blend the pepper, right? And do try to whisk it around so you can swish every bit of onion there, because you really don't want any bits of onion left. This is how I made onion sauce. I started doing this 20 plus years ago when I lived with a man who couldn't eat onion bits. So that's why I started squishing the onions. And my ex, who is a trained chef, used to say that he doesn't know anyone who can squeeze as much flavor out of an onion as I do. And he is a trained chef, and he's 50 years old, and he's worked in numerous restaurants for 30 years or so. And basically it's a bechamel sauce with onions. That's how my mom used to make it, bechamel sauce with onions. And this is basically a bechamel sauce keto way, without the flour and everything. But if you do eat flour and want less fat, you can, of course, start off your onions like this. Squish until you have that paste. You can dust up on some flour and then add milk or cream and some stock, and you have a delicious sauce. Anyways, it's starting to lose its shape, which is what we want, but still there is some shape left, so I keep squishing. This is, like I said, it's a traditional Swedish dish, and I'm just guessing there are probably as many recipes for onion sauce as there is for meatballs, and you know, every family has its own recipe. My mother is also a trained chef, and she makes onion sauce, like bechamel sauce with onions, right? I can no longer feel the onions. There's really no resistance there anymore. I can, however, see the onions, little parts, little bits of onion, so we keep squishing. And you can also see there's really no color, and that is because of the salt, right? The salt will keep the onions from getting any color. I do not want my onions to have any color. Other people do, I do not. it's mostly mush, which is what we want. We want mush. So we put in the mascarpone. It will mix just as soon as the mascarpone warms up. I do feel that this may be a tad too thick, which is when the cream go in, because you do want to boil it for a while. And 1 cube of chicken stock, or whatever kind of stock you want. And then you just want to let it simmer while you get on with frying your pork belly. This is locally produced, doesn't have any salt in it, and I'm going to use the oven for that because I don't want everything to be fatty, right? I think I may want some more salt, but I want the stock cube to really dissolve before I put any more salt in it. So let that simmer for 10-20 minutes or whatever. Grated carrots, right? Cauliflower, sauce. You do stir occasionally. It's only been, what, 10 minutes or so. You know, you see, it's really thick. Really thick and fatty and juicy. I'll taste it in a minute. Now in here I have my pork belly. You see I have a fan oven, and this is how I like to do. Right. So it's not pan fried like I said, but you know, if you want to pan fry it, do. I just think it saves time to, you know, not fry it, but grill it essentially. So I will assemble this on a plate and show you. I say stir it, taste it. It should taste like onions, and you know, it's fatty and gorgeous, lots of flavor. And if you if you do get some leftovers, you know, just use it to go tomorrow. Put some mushrooms in it, whatever. You can make so many things with this if you have any leftover. Grilled, well, pork belly. This is my plate so far. I have pork belly there, cauliflower, carrots, and then here is that gorgeous sauce, right? There. Stekt fläsk med löksås and cauliflower, but you know, if you eat carbs, just use potatoes.